Hello and a very warm welcome back to my dear listeners. This is your host Sharmishta with episode 7. Let's go over to the Vishalgarh palace and see what secrets Binoy uncovers in that dreaded palace. I was sure about one thing. It was only the night hours which brought those dreadful experiences, those nightmares. The daytimes were normal. Raja Bahadur was nowhere to be seen during the daytime. Whatever I had to do, I needed to do then. I found the door of my room unlocked again. Well, and why not? Soiled clothes on me and barefoot. Where would I go in this state? Raja Bahadur knew it. I couldn't escape. The only way to find out about Raja Bahadur was to enter his room. But how? I knew it was locked from the outside. And then I recalled that evening when I had seen him scaling the walls of the palace and entering his room through the window. I would have to do that too. I hurried to my window and looked out. The walls had very wide ledges from one end to another, and between the walls were protruding stone bricks which I could easily use as footholds. I knew it was still dangerous because if I slipped, I would fall to my death. But that was a risk I would have to take. I climbed out of the window and gingerly stepped on the ledge, my heart thudding. I prayed these ancient ledges would hold. Step by step, I made my way to the first stone brick protruding out and climbed up. And then the next stone. I began climbing steadily, avoided looking down. I knew if I did, my steps would falter. Soon I was on the ledge just below Raja Bahadur's room. I caught the windowsill and hauled myself in. The floor was of white marble, I noticed, but caked with thick dust. I looked around. An ornate table stood in a corner, and piled on it in the shape of a pyramid were gold coins, but covered with dust. I picked up a few coins and examined them closely. Each of them dated back to as close as 300 years. Beside the mound of coins was a gold tray filled with precious gems and heavy jewelry. The jewelry looked very old too. We didn't get to see such nowadays. I had been told by Raja Bahadur that this was his bedroom. But where did he sleep here? Other than the table, there was no furniture in the room. I looked around again, and my eyes caught a small door against the corner wall. Perhaps this door had something of interest beyond it. I only prayed that it wasn't locked. And it wasn't. A slight push and the door swung open. I peered into the half-dark, half-light inside. A narrow passage lay ahead. I stepped in. The passage was long, and at the end of it, I found a narrow staircase winding downwards. It was too dark. I pulled out my flashlight from my pocket and snapped it on. Thank God Raja Bahadur had not taken that away. I slowly walked down the staircase. I noticed that the stairs too were thickly layered with dust, and as I came to the end of the last stair, my feet touched cold, moist earth. And then a horrible stench assailed my nostrils. I gagged. Quickly I brought up my palms to cover my nose, but the stench was too powerful. I walked ahead, but I was also beginning to feel very frightened. Where was this leading? I was tempted to turn back. Suddenly I didn't want to find out any more. But then, if I turned back today, no, I had to find out. My flashlight picked up a large rectangular wooden box in the center of that space. I walked up to it and lifted the heavy lid after quite an effort. And what I saw left me shell-shocked. Raja Bahadur lay inside the box, his eyes wide open. His hands and body remained motionless, but his eyes, they were blazing with life. His face, it was burning with vitality. I leaned closer. Those eyes again, they gave off so much hatred. And then, those eyes blinked. Ever so slight, but they did. They blazed suddenly with raw hatred. I fell back. The sight was too much. I turned and ran back up the stairs. The discovery of a secret, but yet so puzzling for me. A body which showed no signs of life, yet the eyes had pierced Binay's very core. Those eyes had blazed in a lifeless body. Raja Bahadur, Rudra Pratap Singh. His mystery awaits. Join me as I return soon with the next episode. Till then,